Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Chef Stafford. Um, Thanks to everyone for the likes and subscription in my previous video, much appreciated. So today I'm going to be doing for you something vegan, vegetarian. Um, we tend to do a lot of meat dishes and fish dishes, so today I'm going to divert a bit and do more um, vegan vegetarian. So today my dish will be a deconstructed lasagna. So it'll be lots of nice colorful vegetables, and instead of using lasagna sheets, my sheets are going to be courgettes and aubergines. So it's quite easy to make, should be able to be made in any household if you want to try it. Let me know how you get on. Put a comment down in the box below, and let me know how it tastes. So moving on. So what we're gonna do first of all, we have our aubergines. So we slice them. If you don't have a mandolin like myself, feel free to use a knife. As not too thin, but thin enough that it's like the width of a lasagna sheet. That's about this width, and the same with the courgettes. So what we're gonna do with these is we're gonna put them on top of the cooker to smoke them a bit, because we need to get a really nice smoky flavor going through that lasagna, in something different, right? So what we're gonna do is on a pan, right, which is hot, stick or non-stick pan, whichever one you have, it doesn't matter. Use whatever you got. If you have a baking pan, use the baking pan. It works just the same. So in that, I'm going to put about a tablespoon of olive oil. Okay, heat that up a bit. Then we have here some small diced vegetables. So we have some spring onions and green beans. We have some butternut squash and courgettes diced. So the leftover courgettes from the slice, don't throw it away. Use it for the slice, because you can use that in the lasagna as well. Okay. We have some chestnut mushrooms. Okay. Red onions, white onions, garlic in there as well. And don't forget your garlic. Mixed peppers. Okay. So we have yellow pepper and we have red pepper in there. I'm not gonna put green because the courgette is already green and the spring onion is green. And then we have some fresh basil. So that goes in as well. So on the pan that is heated, we're gonna put our butternut squash first, because that is the harder of the veg. That's the one that takes the longest to cook. So we put that in first along with the mushroom. And it doesn't matter if the mushroom is overcooked, because it's not going to do any damage to it. So we put this butternut squash along with the mushroom, saute that a bit, and while that is sauteing, what I'm going to do is the aubergines, the courgettes, you don't have to really cook them because they cook quite easily. This is going to go in the oven. So this will cook in the oven. Don't worry about that. And the aubergine, we're just going to put them on top of the cooker and just let it smoke a bit. Okay. If it burns, it doesn't matter, but try not to burn it. Just a bit of a color so it's nice and you get that nice smoky flavor from it. So that's what we're looking for. Yeah, so our butternut squash and our mushroom is there going. So we're going to add in our red onion, white onion, and our garlic. Okay? So all in. Give that a shake. And just let that cook in a bit. While that is cooking, we turn our attention to our aubergines, because as we said, we don't want them burned, but we need a nice bit of color from them, and as well we need it nice and smoky. If they go in black, it's fine, that's what we're kind of looking for. So we need something more similar to this color, nice smoky, so yeah, that's what we're looking for. And on a tray, just a normal baking tray, just get a bit of salt, a bit of pepper, a bit of olive oil, and you put the aubergines on that, just to soak in a bit of the seasoning. Okay. So while that is doing, we'll put the rest on, just to get that going. our mushrooms, onions, butternut squash or garlic. You know, that's coming on nicely. So yeah, just give that a stir. While that is there, we're gonna add in the rest of our veg because they're diced small. They're not gonna take much time to be cooked. So now feel free to throw everything in if you want. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're gonna add our spring onion and our green beans. Okay, we add that in, bit of a stir. On top of that, we're gonna add our courgette. Okay. So we just sweat that off a bit. Just let it keep cooking. Okay. Our aubergines and our courgettes is coming on fine. So yeah, everything seems to be coming into place. Right. So yeah, while that is cooking, a bit about myself. I'm from a Jamaican background. I've been in Ireland for the past 20 years. Originally a chef, so I came straight over here. I was working as a chef in Jamaica, came here working as a chef, and I've been working in hotels, restaurants, pubs. I've also done private yachts, so my whole background, or if you can say my whole life, has always been into cooking. So I'm quite there. I know, you know, it has taken me a lot of places and do a lot. So the last of our veg we're going to put in is our peppers. Okay. And we just need to sweat those off. Or saute, as you know, the cooking term would say. So we're just going to saute those off just so they're slightly bit softened. Okay. And don't forget, guys, universal seasoning, salt and pepper. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so a bit of salt, bit of pepper, just to taste. You don't want to have it salty, okay? But you need flavors in your food. Okay, so this is basically, it's just like cooking your mince. You know, you're putting in your, instead of your mince, you have all your vegetables. So it's based like a vegetable lasagna, but instead of using a pastry sheet, we'll be using vegetables as the sheet instead. So all our veg is nicely sauteed, al dente, as they say. Then we put in the last, which is our basil. Fresh basil, just pick the leaf, put them in. You don't have to chop them. You know, it still brings out the flavor. If you want to chop it, feel free to do so. I'm not going to tell you not to do so, but it's fine if you don't want to chop. Okay, so while that is there, everything is coming. I can smell the flavors coming out. It's releasing. So the last thing we're going to put in is tomato passata. If you don't have tomato passata, feel free to use tin tomatoes. You know, you can make your own tomato sauce. But when you're coming home and you're hungry and you need something quick and easy, I don't think you're going to be standing there and making your own tomato sauce. But feel free to do so. So we're just going to put in enough just to bind the vegetables together. Okay? So just enough that there's a bit of sauce in it and it's not dry. Okay? Yeah, so that's coming on quite lovely. I can smell the basil. You know, nice flavor coming through. And on top of that, we're gonna get vegetable stock cubes. What I'm using is Knorr's, but if you don't want to use veg stock cube, you just want to use salt and pepper, feel free to do so. You know, you can use whatever you want to use, whatever seasoning. Some people maybe use Maggi. Some people may use a different brand of seasoning, but in this case, I'm using Knorr vegetable stock pot. And this is the jelly. So you put it in, it will eventually just melt away. You know, once everything is hot, you know, it will just melt away and it will dissolve into your sauce, and that will give you a nice flavor coming from your lasagna. But it's not done yet, because what we're going to do is I have here pesto. So I have the basil pesto and a red pepper pesto. Great flavors for putting into lasagna. And for me, I use a lot. So I put 2 teaspoons. You can put more. You can put even a tablespoon if you like. So the tablespoon of the green pesto and a tablespoon of the red pepper pesto, and that brings in a really nice flavor. And even when it's baking, you will smell it coming up through the oven because all this flavor is locked into this nice succulent veg, you know. So yeah, so that's what we're looking for. It's nice, it's not too mushy, but it's bind together. Okay, that's what you're looking for. It's actually what we're looking for. So what we're gonna do now is gonna put our lasagna together. So here you can make a big one if you want. You know, it will serve maybe about 3 to 4 people if you make a bigger one. In this case, I'm using a small ceramic dish, which you get 2 out of it, depends on how much you eat. You can get 1 if you want. So for that, I'm gonna assemble lasagna, and I'm gonna take just a bit of the veg, put it on the bottom, okay? Just the same process as if you're making a lasagna, the exact same process, you know, it's not hard. Just take it nice and slow. So I'm gonna put my courgette first on the bottom. Okay. So just layers, nice layers, okay. So just on the bottom, and then I'm gonna put some more veg. You can put as many layers as the dish will hold. In this case, I think this dish will only hold 3 layers. So I'm gonna put courgettes, a bit of veg, and then on top of that, I'm gonna do my aubergines. So this is the last one that goes on. So the aubergine goes on top, okay? And don't afraid to get your hands in there. You know, get your hands dirty because, you know, this is your cooking. You know exactly what it is. You know exactly what it tastes like. Don't be afraid to get your hand in and dig it. Then, lastly, I have here vegan cheese. Very, very important. Because this is a vegan dish, everything has to be vegan. So, I went to the trouble of hunting down some vegan cheese, which you get in most supermarkets. Tesco, Super Value, Dan's. So this is gonna go on top. So you just sprinkle that on top of your lasagna as if it was a regular lasagna. Give it the love, you know, look after it, talk to it, make sure it comes out nice and tasty because that's what you want. You know, you need something that's gonna be tasty, not just for yourself, but for everyone. So it's, okay, so that's it. Nice vegan lasagna. I'm gonna stick that in the oven for 20 minutes because the veg is already cooked. So I just basically need the cheese to be melted and slightly gratinated. You're not gonna get as much gratination from a vegan cheese because there's not much fat in it of such that we're gonna, you know, glaze it, but it will come out nicely. So while that is in the oven, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a rustic salad. So with this, I'm gonna get some rockets. So I have some rocket leaf here, that is ready to go. So on top of that, I'm gonna do some cherry tomatoes. Okay. So this is from my fresh garden here, as you can see, my indoor gardens. So you just cut your tomatoes in half. Put them in because, as I said, it's a rustic salad. Okay, so you just put, I'm using about 8 of these cherry tomatoes. So just cut them in half and throw them in. And with this, you can use whatever dressing you have in the fridge. You don't have to go out in the shop and buy a dressing just for this. So this I'm using just rocket, tomato, and I'm using a cucumber. And as I said, it's a rustic salad, so just cut it in chunks or, you know, large dice if that's more easier for you to understand. So yeah, so it's green, green, and green with a bit of red to give it a bit of color. So your cucumber, and as I said, whatever dressing you have in the fridge, just use it up. You know, don't be afraid to use up leftover stuff that you have. So I'm gonna put that in a bowl, and in this case I have here some balsamic dressing, which would be amazingly tasty with the lasagna. Just what you need: tomato sauce, balsamic, yay. That's it. So I'm just gonna add a bit of dressing in that. Okay, and on that I'm gonna put a bit of pepper. This is just cracked black pepper. So cracked black pepper on top of that. And then I'm gonna put a bit of salt for taste, universal season. Don't forget, you know, have to have it in. And then I'm just gonna toss that together. Okay. So that's exactly what I'm looking for, and that's exactly what I get. You know, you put your mind to something, you know exactly what it's supposed to be like. That's exactly what it comes like. There will be mistakes, but you know, you can correct it as the time goes by. So that's your salad there. Okay. So I'm gonna serve this just on a board. You can do a plate if you like. And so this is a lasagna that I made earlier on when you guys weren't looking. Yeah. So on the side of that, you just put a bit of your salad. Okay. And there you go. So a vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, dairy-free, okay? So anyone along that line can have this salad. So this is what you're looking for, and this is what you should have for dinner tonight. I guarantee you it's tasty. So for those of you who haven't already subscribed, like, leave a comment down below, okay? And tune in for my next video, which will be coming soon. Stay tuned. Thanks very much.